Good evening. I'd like to call to order the public hearing of the Newport News School Board for Tuesday, March 15th, 2023. On behalf of the members of the school board and the superintendent, I welcome each of you joining us. A quorum is present to transact the business of the school division. We will begin tonight's meeting with the pledge to the flag. Gary Hunter, would you please do the honors?
Thank you. Mr. Chair, could everyone please stand as we pledge our allegiance to the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you for that. At this time, the board will open its public hearing on the proposed FY 2024 operating budget only. So prior to hearing your comments, we're going to have a short overview provided. Dr. Mitchell?
Good evening, Madam Chair, Vice Chair, and board members. Our Chief Financial Officer, Scarlett Minto, presented the proposed operating budget during the last school board meeting. The full presentation can be accessed online. This evening, she will provide us with a brief overview of the proposed budget. Thank you.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Madam Co-Chair, members of the board, Dr. Mitchell, families, and community partners. It is my pleasure to provide you a brief overview this evening of the superintendent's fiscal year 2024 proposed budget presented on March 7th. The superintendent proposed budget for fiscal year 2024 operating budget will support the goals and visions set by the school district strategic plan Journey 2025, and we have those listed here. These budget drivers: school safety and security, learning loss and recovery, student attendance, mental health support services, middle school sports, staff recruitment and retention, family and community engagement, technology supports, and operations and maintenance. The amount of revenue that we expect to receive from the state and city drives what we'll be able to accomplish in our budget. We are still waiting final funding information from the city and an approved governor's budget. This is our current revenue projection for fiscal year 24. We are projecting a total revenue of $381.4 million, or a $24 million increase over fiscal year 23. So we're looking for $20.5 million more in state revenue. We have requested $3.4 million from the city, no change in federal, and about $100,000 in other revenue for about $24 million. The operating budget revenue by major source. This chart shows us that our two largest funding partners are the City of Newport News and the Commonwealth, which equals about 98% of the total revenue for our operating budget, or $375.8 million. Federal funding is mostly associated with impact aid, and other revenue includes fees, athletic events, and equals about $5.6 million. Expenditures by cost category. This pie chart represents the three main expenditure categories of the operating budget. Personnel equates to about 86%, or $330.1 million. And is comprised of budgeted salaries and benefits. The remaining 14% is non-compensation. That represents everything else that is needed to run a school division from the operating budget. These include contract services, utilities, fuel, materials and supplies, capital outlay, which includes things like furniture, computers, security devices, network infrastructure, and our leases and rentals. This pie chart shows our operating budget by category. As you would expect, instructional services is the largest part, or 70.7%. That's $269.7 million for FY24. The next biggest slice is $43 million for operations and maintenance, followed by transportation, which is $26.1 million, and technology, which is $16.7 million. The superintendent's compensation strategy for FY24 includes funding to remain competitive and to attract and retain excellent staff. It's recommended where support staff will receive 5% increase. We will address teacher compressions for steps 1 through 5. The teacher salary increase range will be 7 to 10.4%, depending on teachers' years of experience. This spending plan also funds an increase to teacher starting pay from $50,000 to $52,710. And if funding permits, we would like to do some support group compression adjustments as well. For fiscal year 24, we are additional staff request to support student success and student and staff wellness. We are recommending 6 attendance specialists to provide interventions designed to remove barriers to attendance for our students. 1 visual and performing arts specialist to support our visual and performing arts education programs. For student and staff wellness, we are recommending 6 additional licensed clinical social workers to provide intensive mental health support to our students. 5 school-based program specialists who will support guidance counselors so they may be freed up to meet and counsel students. 2 youth development positions to support growing youth development program requirements and community partnerships. 30 additional security officers and a director of safety and emergency management for school and building safety support initiatives, for a total of 51 positions. For fiscal year 2024, we will also continue to ensure funding support for 26 family engagement specialists who will work with families and teachers to improve student achievement. This spending plan will continue to ensure fiscally responsible use of resources to ensure a focus on student and staff needs. In addition to compensation, the spending plan must address non-personnel priorities, and there's a list here, to continue to provide additional safety equipment radios, fire, burglar alarm systems, cameras, and metal detectors, fund middle school sports, scoreboards, play and practice fields, football safety equipment, acquire materials and supplies to support new academic initiatives associated with learning loss, maintain our network infrastructure, our student Wi-Fi connectivity, maintain our one-to-one technology, replace aging playground equipment, and funding to support operation and maintenance of schools and facilities. Health benefits are another part of our employee compensation. This bar chart shows our claims cost per member over the past 10 years with a projection for the current health plan year. For fiscal year 2024, we are anticipating the claims cost per member to increase by $493 per member, so going from $6,600 per member in 23 to $7,096 per member. So for fiscal year 24, we are expecting a $2.4 million increase in cost to the health plan. As the cost of benefits rise, however, the school board continues to try to keep these costs down as much as possible for the employee. This spending plan recommends the school board cover $2 million and the employee group cover $400,000. This translates to an individual health plan increase and premium of between $5 and $7.64 a month for the individual health plan, and for the family health plan, an increase of $22.28 to $30.70 per month. Finally, balancing the budget. The chart on the right summarizes the increases and decreases to balance the fiscal year 2024 budget spending plan. Increases include $20.6 million for salaries, $1.8 million for the FTE request, and you will note that some FTEs have a zero amount because we will repurpose long-standing vacancies in the budget. The health plan fund increase is $2.4. New Horizons tuition increase is $300,000. Fuel and utilities increase is estimated to be $1 million. Operation and maintenance increase $1.9 million. One-to-one technology is an increase of $1.6 million. Middle school teacher laptops, $1.1 million, for a total increase of $30.7 million. The decreases are $1.8 million for staff turnover savings, $3.5 million for staff attrition, a decrease of $1.1 million for one-time cost contracts that are not being renewed from FY23, a decrease of $400,000 for employee health care premium increase, which offsets the $2.4 million in the total increase for the health care plan. So total decreases of $6.8 million. So increase 3.7 million minus the decrease of 6.8 equals 24 million. Our projected revenue is 24 million. So this presents us with a balanced budget plan for fiscal year 2024. In addition, we have requested in addition to the increase in operating from the city, we have requested 4.2 million in cash capital to support building safety, additional middle school sports, playground equipment, and artificial turf and HVAC at Todd Stadium. Our next step is, this is the public hearing. Our next step is March 21st. We will ask the school board to approve the superintendent's fiscal year 2024 proposed budget. We thank the public for their support, and if the public has additional questions, suggestions, or comments, they may go to this operating budget link shown here and select budget feedback form. And there you go. This concludes my review of the superintendent's fiscal year 2024 proposed budget plan. Thank you.
Thank you. The board considers this as an opportunity to listen to your comments, and we will consider them in our deliberations. We ask that you comply with our 3-minute time limit so that all persons who desire to comment may have an opportunity to do so. As you begin your comments, a green light will come on. A yellow light signals you have 30 seconds remaining, and a red light and beep indicates the time is up. So thank you for adhering to our guidance. As your name is called, would you please come forward? Kitty Morgan.
Good evening.
Hello.
I am Kitty Morgan, and I retired July 1st, 2020 from Newport News Public Schools after 31 years. During my tenure, I served as a classroom teacher, a reading recovery teacher, Title I reading teacher, and finally as a reading interventionist. Since retiring, I have continued to advocate for Newport News Public School students and employees, as some of you may recognize me or my name. I've also, from student teaching even into retirement, been a proud VEA, NEA, and NNEA member. Go collective bargaining while I'm standing here. But I'm here tonight because I want to thank you. I want to thank you for what looks like a great budget. I want to thank you in particularly for reinstating the reading and math interventionists and ITCs that were removed from their positions and placed back in classrooms to support the staff shortage earlier this year. You doing that sends the message that you recognize the expertise of these individuals and their value to not only the neediest students who haven't been identified, but classroom teachers, administrators, and the building as a whole. It also supports what I see are the budget drivers, the collective commitment noted to learning loss and reading, and recovery and student success, because we know that when these students start to experience some success, they're coming to school. They experience success when they're working with these individuals who meet them where they are and move them toward grade level standards. So I'm coming to let you know how much I appreciate that, and I want to recognize that. So thank you.
Thank you. Amanda D'Onofrio.
All right.
Hi.
I'm going to skip over this to focus on the very budget part of this. But if anybody has any questions as to what I wanted to say, or if anybody has any questions on to where I found my figures or anything like that, please feel free to contact me on Facebook at VA Parents Against Gun Violence in Schools. And you can message me there for where I came up with any of the figures that I have. First, I wanted to address school bus safety, and that is not just limited to the children on the bus, but the drivers in the community, and that I have seen people go around cones set out by the school, and I've seen cars drive by bus lines despite the signs being up on every single bus. That, I think, should be addressed. Newport News, let's see, we'll skip that part because that part
Ms.
is...
D'Onofrio, this public hearing is specifically on budget issues.
How would you fund extra people to get the budget? How would you fund people to watch the buses if that were a problem? Would that not come from a budget?
Well, I want you to, yeah, you can tie it to budget. You just said that it was a problem, and so since this is specific increase into the budget, please.
School lunches, would that be the quality of school lunches? Is that budget related? Okay. Well, Virginia falls 24th in the nation for teacher's salary, yet it falls 14th in tax revenue. According to recent data, to live comfortably in Virginia, one would need a salary of about $65,000, and teacher pay has been statistically linked to the success in academic testing. The proposed salary increase doesn't seem enough given the record inflation that we've seen, seeing teachers make an average of over $2,000 less per month than they did 10 years ago when adjusted for inflation. Like she said before, our students were starting out at 50,000. It's now increased to about, I think, 53, she was saying, but it seems like it still could be better. I don't want teachers struggling to buy gas or housing or eggs. The budget in 2022, the superintendent was being paid $260,000, and this year, as if I read it correctly, that's due to increase by 110% to $540,000. I believe that's the figure I saw. The increase for administration is 192.4% increase to nearly $370,000. And admin tech is going to increase from $3,620 to $219,865. Athletics admin are going to go up 65% to over $113,000, and another $107,000 for supplies. This is related to state legislation. And I think that's everything that is specifically budget related, unless you would like me to go into the other budget related stuff on your learning records.
Thank you for your time. Are there any additional speaker cards? No, ma'am. Okay. As there are no other business, I will close the public hearing portion of the meeting. May I have a motion for us to go into closed session?
Madam Chair, I move pursuant to Virginia Code Section 2.2-3711A, subsection 1, that the school board convene a closed meeting for the purpose of discussing the assignment, appointment, demotion, and performance of specific administrators in the school division.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Harris. Any discussion? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
4.
Harris.
4.
Hunter.
4.
Alger. 4. Amon.
4.
Best.
4.
Searles Law.
4.
Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you.